That's where the good stuff's at. The good stuff ain't up at the front. That's the expensive stuff. The good stuff's in the back. And so in order to get what she wanted, she was willing to go back there and go through the clearance racks or the ones that had been reduced or marked down or something like that. I said, hey, at least you get that. And it'd be the same thing like at Christmas. She'd say, well, since I've got some money at Christmas, we can go shopping and I can get what you want. And I said, okay, here's the deal. You got X amount of dollars. You can go to Walmart and buy you 6 pair or 8 blouses, or you can go to these other stores and you get 2. But then you're going to be wearing the same thing every day because that's all you got. Because you've only got so much money. So you have to learn how you're going to divide this money up and what's really important and what's of value. And what's funny is now that she's married and now that she's on her own, you know, back in the day, if we said, hey, we're going to go to a garage sale, or hey, I seen some clothes at the dollar store, you know, she would be like, what? No way. You know, nowadays, hey, she's all for it. Cheap. And since I'm picking on Amber, let me pick on Jeremy just a minute too, because back in the day, he would ride with his pawpaw all over the place and during the summer, and he would work with Pawpaw, and Pawpaw would give him a little bit of allowance. And since they lived in Newville and Pawpaw liked to run the roads, they would drive the back roads from Newville and go to Shelbyville Grocery every so often, and they would stop in there and get a burger or some chicken strips or fries or different things. You know, Pawpaw always paid for it. But when Jeremy got a little older and he was paying Jeremy to help him work and do some of the stuff he was doing, they went over there one day, and as they pulled up into the parking lot, George said, told Jeremy, he said, are you hungry? He said, yeah, I'm hungry. He said, I can't wait to go in there and get a burger and stuff. So they walk in, and when they get ready to pay, he tells Jeremy, he said, now you made money today, so you need to use your money to buy your lunch. And all of a sudden he said, I ain't hungry. Because all of a sudden reality hit, you know. Well, George ended up paying for it, but it's just, when it's your money, all of a sudden it changes the perspective on everything. That, I don't know about you, but I actually put this on Facebook. I said, does the price affect or influence your purchasing of a product or not? In other words, have you ever walked in and maybe you're looking at clothes or shoes or appliances? I don't care what you're looking at, but you're looking at it and say, wow, I like that. How much is it? I don't like that. You loved it. It's your color. It's your size. It fits. It caught your eye immediately, but all of a sudden, because of that price, when you turn that price tag, it changes everything. You know, I always said it would be nice to one day to just literally go shopping sometime, somewhere, and just never have to look at price. Just say, I'm going to go in the store, and whatever I want, I'm going to get it. And you didn't have to worry about it. Wouldn't that be cool? You can do that. It's called Dollar Tree. Just go pick. They're starting to go up, though. They are, and that's because of the tariffs and all that kind of stuff on Chinese goods. But literally, you know, you can do. But can you imagine these people that walk into a car dealership and just get whatever car they want? Prices is no factor. They don't have to look. They don't have to ask, how much does it cost? So I found some things that were high priced. They might not necessarily be the highest priced item in this category, but they are definitely up there, probably beyond what you're willing to pay. And there's 10 of them. There was a list of 15, and I just got 10 of them that interested me. Because we got some people in here, you might like to fish, you might have boats, something like that. Well, this first one, Phil, if you'll throw that first one up there. The History Supreme yacht cost $4.5 billion. It doesn't even have a trolling motor. Malaysia's wealthiest person, Robert Knock, owns the History Supreme. The 100-foot-long yacht made of solid gold. Designed by United Kingdom's Stuart Hughes, the boat's master bedroom has a wall that's made out of meteorites and a statue made from the bones of a T-Rex. As Lux Habitat explains, the master suite is adorned with 68 kilograms or something like that, 24-karat gold, Aqua Vista panoramic wall aquarium, and a liquor bottle featuring a rare 18.5-karat diamond. It can be yours for the paltry sum of $4.5 billion if you're in the market for a boat. The second one that sort of caught my eye is because some people like jewelry, and to me, nowadays, to my eye, cubic zirconia or whatever it's called, hey, that looks like a diamond, it's just as good, and it's way, way cheaper. But something about that woman, somehow she can tell, It's like a jeweler has to put it up to this thing, but you can tell it's fake right away. This particular watch is called the Graf Diamonds Hallucination Watch, because you're hallucinating if you think you can buy this thing. 55, who in the world is going to put something on their wrist that costs $55 million? Well, I don't know. Well, you can barely see. If you'll come up close later, there's the hour hand is pointed straight down, and it's a black mark going to the left. It's actually 5:45 on that clock right there. So here's what it is. Completed in 2014, the hallucination watch by London-based Graf Diamonds took several thousand hours of work and 110 carats to create, reports Money Incorporated. It's a sculptural masterpiece. The platinum quartz watch is encrusted in yellow, pink, blue, gray, and orange diamonds in all different kinds of cuts. So, I'll be happy with my watch. I don't think I'll be buying anybody one of those. How about cars? We like our cars, and we sometimes balk at the price of them. Well, here's a car for you right here that in 2018, this vintage Italian sports car broke a record when Chicago's David McNeil, the founder and CEO of WeatherTech. How many have a WeatherTech item in their car? Maybe it's the floor mats or the different things that WeatherTech makes, all these different things for your car. He's the CEO of that. He bought that car for $70 million. As CNN explains, it's extremely rare for an owner to part with one at any price, because these Ferraris were built between 1962 and 1964, and there was only 39 of them made. So, well, of course, that explains everything. Surely I'll give $70 million for that car. What about, how many have ever eaten tuna fish? I mean, I like tuna fish. One of the reasons I buy tuna fish is not only is it good, it's cheap. It's good for you, but it's cheap. You can eat till you're full, and it's cheap. But it is getting to the point where it's going to be more expensive. Take this case in point right here. A bluefin tuna sold for $3.1 million. Experts are worried about the future of tuna, specifically the bluefin tuna. It's a borderline on a threatened species. But we're still, this is what the writer wrote, but we're still not sure if a single fish is worth $3.1 million. But Kiyoshi Kimura, a sushi owner, paid that much for a bluefin tuna at Japan's Toisu market in early 2019, reports Reuters. I cannot afford a sandwich there. You ain't going to find it at Subway, are you? Houses. They come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, there's actually people in New York and places in China, they actually call them like coffin houses. They're literally just sometimes a compartment, maybe 8 by 12 or something like that, and they're tiny, tiny places. Well, this family here bought this monstrosity place, and they paid $2 billion. Well, I messed up on that. It was supposed to be $22 billion when I typed it in. I accidentally typed that wrong, so it's not $2 billion. It cost them $22 billion for this building that you see in the background. The richest man in India built this. What's the biggest square footage house you've been into? 8,000 square feet? I think that'd be about the same for me, 5,000 or 6,000 feet. I've seen some. This house for this family is 400,000 square feet. It's in Mumbai, and it was built in 2012. Business tycoon Mukesh Ambani, his wife, and 3 children, 5 people, live in this 400,000 square foot home. They enjoy 27 floors of earthquake-proof luxury. Named after a mythical Atlantic island, Antillia, it has a 168-car garage. It has a spa, a temple, a 2-story rec center, a 50-person theater, 3 helipads, garden terraces, ballroom, and guest suites. So if you're in the market for a house anytime soon, call your realtor and have them check this one out. How many of you have went around, you might be at Walmart, you might be on the square, and you're looking for a parking place, and it's so hard to find a parking place, sometimes in our church parking lot, until we finally get it expanded, it's hard to find a parking spot, that you might even say, you know what, I'd be willing to pay for a parking spot, just so I know I'd always have it. Just let you know, even pastor don't have a designated spot, and I usually park behind the church here somewhere, but you would pay, how many would pay for a parking spot if it was hard to find? Not a one, huh? Everybody in Boston. Almost as bad, Phil, put this one up here. Manhattan parking spot for $1 million. Between 1978 and 2010, Manhattan lost 25,000 off-street public parking places, reports Apartmentality. It's a magazine. And developers can only include parking spots for about 20% of the new residences. So you get a house, you get an apartment, you don't get a parking spot. You just got to find one somewhere. So you might have to take public transit. That's why most of these people don't even have cars. A lot of the people in New York, Boston, they don't. They simply use public transportation for everything, or else they get mopeds or something like that. So you can buy a new house, a new apartment, and you don't even get a place to park with that. A reliable parking spot has quickly become the new standard of luxury in New York City. In 2015, a specialty Manhattan condo sold 3 parking spaces for $1 million a piece. God, that's great. Ain't that ridiculous? I don't want to put a quarter in a parking meter, you know. And they paid that. But I guess you get it for life. You know, it's yours. You can pass it down, sell it or something. I don't know what kind of market's out there for it. But okay, we talked about boats. We talked about cars. We got a motorcycle person right here. Anybody else likes motorcycles or has a motorcycle or drives motorcycles? We just got one in the building today. That's sort of saying that. Well, here's one for you. Only 45 of these Neiman Marcus limited edition fighter motorcycles exist. With a carbon fiber frame and titanium features, this bike can run 190 miles an hour. It first sold for $110,000, not so pricey comparatively. However, enthusiasts love the unusual design and the body that is carved from one single piece of metal. Now it's highly sought after. It's our street legal sci-fi dream come to life, as Neiman Marcus explained, and so it's a paltry $11 million for a motorcycle. Huh? Yeah, it's nice looking. I wouldn't take it anywhere. It would sit in my living room or something. Getting back to jewelry. This is, talking about cubic zirconia and the size of the diamond, the size of the carats or something. This particular diamond right here was found in India during the 17th century. This deep blue diamond was first owned by Spain's King Philip the something and changed hands many times over the ages. In 2008, Christie's London auctioned the 35.36 carat diamond, Graf's diamond, Lawrence Graf, which we already talked about having a part in that other watch thing, got it for $24 million, but they were unhappy with the stone's 25 flaws and numerous chips and scratches, a result of its many setting changes over the past 400 years. So he recut it into a 31.06 carat diamond, and now it's currently worth about $80 million. Don't stand near the sink or the commode when you're holding that, right? I don't have my phone with me. How many of you have your phones with you right now? How many of you have an iPhone? You know, in the past, I've told and commented on how Terry sometimes, she will get mad at the phone. She thinks it's the phone's fault, and it's the Internet's fault. The phone's only as good as your Internet is, and she might toss it around or something like that, Of course, not hard, but You know, one time we was in the car and she threw it on the floor, and one time she was in the living room, she threw it on the carpet, you know, and stuff like that. And I'd always say, do you know you're like throwing anywhere between $700 and $1,000? You're just chunking it. You know, it's little, it don't look like much, but it costs a lot of money. I don't know if anybody in here would pay this much for an iPhone, but Hughes, an elite British designer, has tried to build a house out of gold. Of course, he would do the equivalent for an iPhone. The Apple logo on this phone is made of 53 diamonds. 500 diamonds encrust the rose gold bezel of the device. A 7.4 carat pink diamond compromises the phone's navigation button. Only 2 of these 32 gig phones are being produced. A cool $8 million for your next iPhone. So, you know, it's only good for 2 years. You have to get rid of it. So what do you do then? I don't know. That's a lot of money for a phone. And then the last one, it's not there, and these aren't in order. These are just random objects that people paid outrageous prices for. And the last one is this. If you've ever been to some museums, especially of modern art, I just don't have a taste for modern art. To me, it looks stupid. I mean, there's no sense to it. There's no rhyme to it. There's no reason. It's just dumb. And people stand there, oh, isn't that beautiful? I can just feel the artist, what they were thinking. You know, yeah, nothing. In 2015, a private owner sold this 6-foot-tall bronze statue to Stephen Cohen, a hedge fund billionaire. Cohen's collection of modern and contemporary art is widely considered to be among the best in the world. So this is a piece that's in the widely considered best art things that somebody owns, reports Art News. The Swiss artist Alberto Giacometti made 6 casts. The Pointing Man is one of them. And here it is for a paltry $141 million. Somebody drew a stick man on a piece of paper, and he just took some bronze and made that. Pastor, why are you talking about all this? Because the title of tonight's is Priceless. As much as things cost, as much as you is paid for things. You know, my children are starting to try to get houses, and and they have slowly found out the aggravation of, like, interest. We're going to be paying almost as much interest as what we're paying for the house. Welcome to the real world. I remember that day. We bought a $22,000 mobile home when Terry and I got married. And our interest was actually going to be $24,000 because back in the early 80s, interest was 17%. And I said, what? I ain't going to pay, but I did. So no matter how much we pay for things and have paid for things, I would almost be willing to bet if I came around and asked you what you would consider priceless in your life, most likely it's not even something you ever bought. It's a relationship. It's a moment. It was a capturing of something when you were with some people that you loved and cared for. It's those sweet moments, those sweet times. Maybe you'll remember some of these commercials. They're called all the priceless commercials. What they call MasterCard.
A dozen eggs, $4. Toilet paper, $8. Black ski masks, $16. Realizing the error in your ways before it's too late? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
unexpected toys, the softest bear on the web, a new bedtime story added to cart. Watching her play with the box instead, priceless. Your MasterCard makes sure you don't pay for unauthorized purchases. Not online, not anywhere.
There's certain things in life that are just priceless. Money could never buy some of the things that are going to mean the most to you in life. The word priceless literally means this: so precious that its value cannot be determined. You couldn't put a price on it if you tried to. So what is things worth to you? Who really determines the price? Is it the buyer or the seller? You see, the reality is, you might say, well, the seller does because he puts the price on it. No, because if he puts it too high, it won't sell. The ultimate person that determines the price is the one that's willing to, what are they willing to pay for it? How valuable are we to God? What was the price he was willing to pay for us? Do you know that he looks at you and says you're priceless? What truly makes something priceless? Can something that costs a lot still be worthless? To me, that bronze statue for $141 million is useless. So just because something costs a lot, it could be worthless. Just because something don't cost anything, it could be priceless. And you see, if you have things that are priceless, you also have things that are worthless. And though Christ paid the ultimate price for us because he deemed us so valuable, if we don't live right, if we don't take what he has given us and do what he's asked us to and live the way he desires us to, it doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter what we wear, it doesn't matter. All these things are useless and worthless. Watch this clip.
Jesus Fan Club mug, $13. Testament, 50 cents. WWJD bracelet, $4. Trendy tee, $15. The perfectly placed ictus on your car, $7. Having merely the appearance of a Christian, worthless.
Just as something can be priceless, something can be worthless. He had his band on, he had his shirt on, he had the symbol on his car, but at the same time, he was worthless. He wasn't worth anything. Tonight, the two parables we're going to look at, we've been talking about parables for the last couple of weeks, and we're going to be talking about them for a while. It comes out of Matthew 13, verses 44 through 46. Once again, these parables are a story that Jesus is giving to help people understand a particular subject. In this moment, just like last week, it's about the kingdom of God. And so in 44 it says, the kingdom of heaven is like. So they're understanding, I'm about to tell you a story, and this is describing the kingdom of heaven. It's like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in a field. In his excitement, he hid it again and sold everything he owned to get enough money to buy that field. What an amazing thing. He finds some treasure, he gets so excited, he buries it back again, he runs, gets everything he has, sells everything he has so he can go and buy this field, and then he'll own the treasure. Immediately, he tells another parable, just goes from one right into the other, no skips, and says this. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like, pay attention, this is what the kingdom of heaven is like. It's like a merchant on the lookout for choice pearls. When he discovered a pearl of great value, he sold everything he owned and bought it. Tonight we have another example of two parables, side by side, just like last week, that can be described in two totally different ways, depending on the interpretation. Last week we actually had three interpretations for those two parables. Tonight, the popular consensus is two different interpretations. First, you have the man that finds hidden treasure in the field, sells everything to buy the field to get the treasure. The second, the man who finds the pearl of great value, also sells everything he has in order to buy the pearl. The first way people look at this verse is this, that the kingdom is like this because this represents God's heart. This is God's heart for mankind. There's no telling how many times I have got up here and told the congregations, that I've told people that I'm praying for, that I've told people I've counseled with, that you are valuable, you are so valuable, you are that treasure. That he was willing to bankrupt heaven to get you, to ransom you, to have you as one of his children. I've also told him that you are the pearl of great price. That he once again ransomed everything to get you. And it's such a great concept, and it's a true concept, that is how much God values us, that he was willing to do anything and everything. We sing that song sometimes, the praise team will sing it about the reckless love of God. There's a lot of controversy about that song because some people get all prim and proper and say, well, God don't do anything reckless. Well, see, they're looking at what the song's trying to convey in the wrong way. What the song is saying, that he's willing to do anything to get you. If it takes knocking down things, he's going to knock down things. If he takes things to be destroyed or lifted up or pushed away or whatever, he'll do anything to get you. That's what the purpose of the song is. Not that God's just running like a bull in a china shop trying to gather Christians. Not that kind of reckless. There's another kind of reckless that means he doesn't count the cost. He's willing to do anything and everything to reach his children. So it's usually that we think of it as a value God places on us. God went above and beyond to purchase us. 3 different scriptures talk about this. In Exodus 19:5, this is what it says. It says, "Now if you will obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the peoples on the earth, for all the earth belongs to me." But he says, I own everything. But if you are obedient and you become my children, you are special in my heart. You're just like a special treasure. That one thing that you take really good care of that means something so much to you. He's describing his people like that. In Deuteronomy 14:2, we find something similar. He says, you have been set apart as holy to the Lord your God, and he has chosen you from among all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure. The treasure in the field, the pearl of great price. And then the last one, Psalms 135:4, once again talks about the same subject matter, and it says, for the Lord has chosen Jacob for himself, Israel for his own special treasure. So there's no doubt when Jesus was relating this parable, he wanted people to understand the price that God the Father and he himself, because the scriptures say that he was obedient even unto death, and we know the agony he went through in the Garden of Gethsemane, that Jesus was portraying that God himself and Jesus himself were willing to do anything and everything to reach. There was no cost that was too high because you were priceless. You were priceless. But what about the other interpretation? Well, let me get there in just a minute. You see, this grace that we so freely get wasn't free. You know, it's almost like I want to tell people all the time when they say, government needs to expand all the help that they give to the people. Government don't have no money, people. The only way they get money is for the working people to pay in more. And here's where sometimes we, the American public, so I'm not pointing you out, because you may think this way. I've just included myself as we in the public. They'll come out and they'll say, oh, don't worry. I'm not going to pay you more. I'm not going to make you pay more taxes. I'm going to make Apple pay more taxes. I'm going to make Ford pay more taxes. I'm going to make all these rich people that make money off of all these products, I'm going to charge them more taxes. So it ain't going to cost you nothing. It'll cost jobs, but you know what else? That rich man says, I ain't going to pay no more taxes. Your phone going up. Your car going up. Your electric bill. Everything. Corporations do not. Government doesn't pay taxes and don't have money. Corporations do not pay taxes. It is figured into the price of their product. So when some politician says, don't worry, it ain't going to cost you nothing, we're going to cause all the rich people are rich because they make the products we buy. So when the rich people are taxed, you're going to pay for it. Nothing is free, including the grace that saved your soul at an altar. It cost the precious blood of our Savior. But just because grace is free, sometimes if somebody says they're giving something away, they say, oh, I ain't going to buy that. That's cheap. That ain't no good. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's cheap. The price of our sin required that God give the life of his only begotten Son. But God considered us to be worth that high price because of his great love for us. Sort of typified in this trailer for this movie that I want you to watch. And I'm really thinking about ordering this. It's already out. It was from like 2 years ago. I didn't know. It's based on the song from King and Country. But it looks like it'd be a really good show, and I'm thinking about ordering it maybe for one of our next movie nights. But watch this. The name of the movie is called Priceless.
We're all on a journey. It seems somewhere along the way I took a wrong turn. So many regrets, so many mistakes.
But I want to stay with you, Daddy.
And then it happened. And I never even saw it coming.
You look beat. What are you hauling?
Nothing really.
Why would you have to go through all that? You're just hauling nothing.
I just for once wanted to do the right thing.
We want to thank you.